Where do I start investing? Where do I put all my money? How do I make more money? Do I invest in the stock market? Do I invest in real estate? Do I invest in mutual funds, bonds? All these options are out there for you to invest in. However, none of those options are what you need to know right now. Before you start investing, you need to finish this video and to make some big changes in your life.
I know everything that he just said, and you may be a beginner in investing or want to start investing, and all the words he just said is like, you don't understand it. I'm kind of the same way too, but this video is really just more about figuring out that first you need to start investing in yourself and change your mindset and start investing into others.
We all have questions and concerns about what do I do with my savings account, or like where do I put my money, or like what do I need to do next, Bitcoin, all this other stuff. What's the new trendy thing? When in reality, those are all things that come later and you can get really caught up in it. Let's just say you have no investing experience at all. You don't know what to do. You don't know, you don't even have a savings account. Maybe you have a savings account, I don't know. But you're curious because you clicked on this video. So I need you to keep watching, okay? Because some of this stuff's real important. We've learned all this stuff. Some of it we learned the hard way. Some of it we learned along the way. Some of it we didn't learn until later on.
The first thing to know is that when you start investing, you are wanting to see some kind of area of growth in your life. Whether it's obviously financially, but also maybe mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that's the first thing to remember is whatever you invest in is what you're gonna get back. So if you're investing in the wrong thing, in the wrong people, in the wrong activity, then you're going to get that back. Probably more in return. And so I think you're watching this, you're thinking, I want to change my life, but how do I start? You are already investing in some way, but maybe not into the right thing. We need to start investing into the right thing in our life.
The most obvious, most simple thing you can start with is by investing in yourself. Whenever you invest in yourself, right, you take time, you don't really look at what other people are doing around you. You don't pay attention to all that. You don't look at what do I put my money with? What you're gonna do with your money, that's more important than where your money's gonna go. What you do depends on who you are and where your morals are and your character is. You have no control because you don't have control over yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, the highest return that you're ever gonna get in your life is you. You are gonna get the highest return from you. What I mean by that is do something that's uncomfortable in your life. Go out. If you're stuck in a routine, break that routine and start traveling into other areas that may have an interest, but you're afraid to. Learn a new skill, learn a new craft. Investing in yourself, read a lot of books, crack open the Bible. Start reading the Bible. The Bible is a big book of knowledge and a lot of wisdom in there. So start reading. I know what you're gonna think. You're gonna think, why do I want to waste my time when I can be doing this, when I can be making all this money with Bitcoin? All that's gonna come into play later, but first of all, you really need to work on yourself. You need to look at where you are in your life, how you're thinking, and start changing your mindset and start growing.
I think it's really important to remember that when you start investing in yourself, there will be a mindset shift. And you're going to realize that, I had the whole system of beliefs that I believed in before. That, I shouldn't invest in myself because that's a selfish thing. And maybe it is a selfish thing and you want to start investing in, real estate and all of that stuff so that you can make money. And that's a good reason to have, but it shouldn't be the sole reason. But also investing in yourself doesn't have to be in just, learning and all of that stuff of what he said. That's important too. But it can be, physically, maybe your health. Maybe you need to start, going on a walk more. Maybe you never go walking or you're never active and you're like, where do I start? I don't want to go to the gym. Well, just start walking around your neighborhood or walking at a park for 30 minutes. That you can start somewhere. That's investing in yourself. Knowing that you're trying to prolong your life and have a better future for your life instead of possibly cutting your future short because you're not on that journey of health or trying to eat healthier or all that stuff.
All these examples are investing in yourself, and look you know what you need to work on. We're not going to tell you what you need to work on. You know exactly what areas you need to focus on. You know exactly what you need to work on, and a lot of these areas are going to make you uncomfortable. They're going to make you nervous. They're not going to, you're not going to want to do them. You're going to be lazy about these areas in your life that you really need to work on. But they're going to be the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Once you get those areas mastered and the skill really honed down in those areas, hey, it's going to be great. The second thing that we can say after you work on yourself, which there's no time frame on any of this. There's no like, oh, you need to do it for a year or whatever. But, give yourself ample time to really study, to really learn, to be able to grow so that you can do this next step. Because the next thing is to scale your skill or your mindset or your knowledge. Scale it.
What does that mean?
What does that mean, Leanna?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know what that... Okay, so let me give you an example. A small thing could be like, hey, let's just say like you hate reading a book, or let's just say you don't like to learn anything. You don't like to study anything. Maybe you need to put yourself in an area to be able to scale your knowledge. So like go to the library and be forced to read a book. I don't know.
I just went yesterday.
Yeah, she just went yesterday. Or, do something, like put yourself in that spot so that you can scale your skill.
Yeah.
Like a library or I don't know, like if you want to cook, if you're like so passionate about cooking, buy a cooking class, spend money on the cooking class and cook with other people. You know what I mean? That's like scaling your skill.
Yeah.
You can get other people around you to help you scale that skill to learn from once you're doing it together.
I think for me, because, we are Christian, we are believers, and it's always going to come out in some way or form. For me, if you're investing in yourself and you want to invest more on the spiritual side of yourself, you want to get to know the Lord a little bit more, maybe you have to do the uncomfortable thing, expand your knowledge by going to church again, or go to church for the first time. That's an example, where you're trying to scale your skills in some way by, connecting with other people that are like-minded, Christ believers. And even if you're starting in a new place or you're starting at the very beginning, you can start now, like you can start today. And I know, I know it's all coming out. We're talking about investment and like finances and stuff, but we did come out with a video on what is stopping you from a relationship with the Lord, and it just came out recently. So we'll put a link to that somewhere below or up above.
Here's another good example about kind of like what Leanna was saying. Let's just say you're a new believer. You just accepted Jesus into your heart. Let's say you don't go back to church ever. And you say, oh, I'm a believer. I just accepted Jesus. You never go back to church. You never contact anybody that's a Christian. And you just go on living your life. Like you just...
So what changes?
So what changed? Exactly. Yeah. That's my point. To expand and scale whatever you're doing would be like getting plugged into a small group or, getting connected into a community that's like-minded so that you can learn from other people. The next one is really fun. So those two are the most important things ever. If you want to invest, you want to buy real estate, you want to do all this stuff, those two things have to come first. Don't get me wrong, you can do all that stuff that they're talking about, Bitcoin, real estate, I don't know, all this other stuff.
Without doing any
of this. There's going to make a big difference once you do these two things first before you do that. Because, you can't jump over a river basically without getting wet. You're going to have to build a bridge to be able to get there.
That's a good metaphor.
That's good. The third one is going to be pay off your bad debt. Get rid of it. What does that mean?
So, you know how in debt they say pay off your highest interest first? Well, I was talking about this with David, and I realized, like, we have invested in the wrong things, like I said at the beginning, and now you have paid off. So it could be, toxic people in your life or toxic behaviors that you have. You need to pay it off and be done with it.
Yes.
And
cut that card up.
The credit card. I feel like this can be, sounding really harsh. Like, you can't cut people off. You're a Christian. Like, we're not called to cut everybody off that, wrong us or whatever. We are still called to love them. If there are certain people or certain influences that have led you down a bad path or led you on a path of destruction like before, and you don't want to do that again, maybe it's better to cut them off and love them from a distance.
That third thing will help open up more opportunities before you start investing, because you don't want the wrong influence coming in there telling you, oh, well, I shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't do that, because who are they to say, right? You want people that are going to be encouraging, that people are going to be wise, who are going to guide you down the right path. And you want somebody who really knows what they're doing. Yeah. To be able to, guide you down that right path. So I guess, now that you've done these three things, these incredible, simple, yet complicated things, The next thing is something beautiful, right? Something that's very inspiring, and that is doing what you love while giving back. What I mean by giving back, so let's just say that you wanted to invest in real estate, right? You do all these things, what we're talking about. You wanted to buy your first property, your first door. Let's say you go into a neighborhood that's a little rough, and you buy that home and you fix it up, you make it beautiful. Hey, the neighbors are going to appreciate you. They may hate you at first, but they're going to appreciate you in the long run.
All the loud construction.
Yeah, because you are contributing to that community by making it more beautiful than it already is, or that it's not. That's an example of contributing back and giving back. That's just one small.
And that's such a large, long-term vision, you know, and it's hard to see that in the moment that you're, okay, I only have this much money to invest in this house, to fix it up or rent it out, and then, or eventually sell it. Like, it's hard to see that in the long term, but you have to realize you are doing something good through that. Maybe long after you're dead, you know, you're long gone, you know, that house is still going to be a way to improve the community or the neighborhood around you.
Yeah.
So that's just one example, and it's hard to realize that sometimes we do things for ourselves, you know, for our own personal
gain.
You know, gain, and it's hard to wrestle and face that because it can be like, oh, you know, I'm not selfish, or I'm not just trying to do this for money. Like, yeah, well, what's the point in investing in real estate or in stock market to get that return back, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get that return back, then what's the point of doing it? You're just doing it for fun. It's just to remember that if you have the same mindset of, oh, there's no point in me investing in real estate or stock market, then nobody's going to do it, and the economy is going to go down. So in some way, you are contributing to the country, wherever country you're at, and to the stock market. You are contributing and helping businesses to thrive.
Yeah. No, that's good. Now that you've gone through this and your eyes have been opened, hopefully they have been, you know, with this video, and it's been awesome. You know, the next thing is just to go out and do it. Don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Take that course, sign up for that class, go to church, you know, get involved in the community, call somebody that has very experience in the area that you want to go to. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah. I think one more thing to remember is, you know, God has told us to be wise with what we have and to spend it wisely. So that's just something to remember. Like, this is a biblical thing to be thinking about, oh, where is my money going to go? Like, am I going to invest in something bad or good? So that's just something to remember as we're living our life. Yeah, I'm excited for this, you know, video. We hope that you loved it, and we're going to come out pretty soon with definitely for investing for beginners. Really going to go over real estate, our experiences, and stock market, and all the other stuff that he knows about that I know nothing about.
Sounds good. And remember, don't live life alone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.